Welcome back to the NW Sportscast. Today's topic, it's a quick little debate for you between me and Drew. We think you're going to
And
like
I'm
it.
ready to kill today, Levi. You're going down.
This is the question. In light of the Seahawks and Washington Huskies both suffering some of the worst wins in of the season, 15-7 is the Huskies, 20-10, an ugly 20-10 is the Seahawks. Both of them against teams from Arizona who have only one win on the season. So in light of those two games, the question we're asking today, Drew, is a win just a win, or is there more to it than that?
Of course, the win's a win. I mean, come on. And you have no leg to stand on for the NFL. So I'll start with college football because that's the only chance you have in this argument, Levi. Because in the NFL, there's nobody that votes that get someone into the playoffs like they do in college football. Wins count as wins and losses count as losses. So that's pretty clear to me. That's a win. Was it an ugly win? Sure, it was a win nonetheless. When you look at it the other side, you have to impress voters to get in to the NCAA college football playoffs. And I'm sure that's going to be your argument. Look, you beat Arizona State because of a lucky pick six at the end of the game. You should have beat them by 40. Penix arguably isn't going to win the Heisman because of that game. I understand all of that. But when you really look at it, the Huskies need to win out in order to make the college football playoffs. And if they beat Arizona State by 50 or if they beat them by one, that does not change anything. If they win out, they are still in the college football playoffs. So, yes, was it a bad win? Sure. Did Penix play like he did a few years ago at Indiana? Yes. Did the defense completely bail out the Huskies? Sure. But it was still a win. It was Pac-12 after dark. No one was watching anyways on the East Coast. It was 2 o'clock at our time. And when you really look at it, Huskies got to win out to get in. And if they continue to win out despite the Arizona State win, it's not going to matter. And when you look at the Seahawks, I am very interested to see what you say here because the only thing I can see is that Geno Smith played bad, but I mean, the defense played great. So this is definitely a win.
Well, let me start, Drew, with college football because, yes, that is going to be the meat of my argument here. There's no guarantee that you make the college football playoffs without the voters, right? The voters have to get you in. You don't get in on wins alone. You don't get in on record alone. So, in that sense, yes, a win is not a win in college football. There are some teams in college football that will go 11-1 and they will be ranked 12th because there are teams like Air Force who don't play against actual schools. In Air Force's case, is a win a win? Air Force,
No, but
Air
it's
Force
not.
could go. Air Force could go 12-0. They
Yeah, but this
make the
isn't the
college
same
football
argument.
playoff. No, but that is the same argument. We're not saying
No, but
just Huskies
no, but
in general. In college football, a win is not just a win. It has to
okay.
be a
I
good
would I
win
would agree
against
with
a
that,
good
but I'm
team.
saying in this specific scenario, I thought we're talking
And yeah,
specifically
well,
this weekend.
in this specific scenario, the Huskies were outplayed. At least offensively, they were outplayed. Defensively, they weren't. But
100% agree.
offensively, they were outplayed by a team that has one win.
I agree with
A
you.
team that is that I mean, Arizona State is not supposed to be anybody. So that is going to be held against the Huskies. There's a scenario where if the Huskies blow out every single win of the season, but let's say they slip up once. Let's say they lose to Utah or to Oregon State, but they come back and beat USC, and then they go to Las Vegas and win the Pac-12 championship game. There's a scenario where a 12-1 Huskies team like that could potentially still be in the mix for college football playoffs, but not with terrible 8-point barely sneak out the win against ASU. That is going to be counted against the Huskies. So yes, if we win out, we're still probably going to end up as a top 4 team. But you need to clean up on the games that you're supposed to win so that if you do lose a game to an actual good team, you have the rest of the resume to back it up. And let me move over to the Seahawks because the Seahawks in the NFL,
I really
Sure,
gotta think about that one.
sure. A win is a win in the sense that it gets you to the playoffs. But I don't think getting to the playoffs is all that really I don't think that's all it's really about, right? My philosophy is that your goal is to win the Super Bowl.
I agree, and that helps you win the Super Bowl by
No,
beating the Cardinals.
well, not in the way that we played against the Cardinals because it shows actually that you can't win the Super Bowl.
No, it shows that even when your offense plays badly, your defense is elite enough to make up for it.
Are your defense I'm not so sure about that. Our defense let Joshua Dobbs cook us for the good better part of 2 drives.
Joshua Dobbs threw less than 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
That
And he scored any team that lets Josh Dobbs score a touchdown on them. I can't consider that to be an elite defense. So
so the
that's my
Cowboys
two
just aren't
cents.
good.
Well, I don't have them in my top 10 this week.
Going
Uh,
back to the college football
but
argument,
well, hang on. I want to bring up another sport because I think this is interesting. Look at baseball. Look at baseball. The teams with the 4 most wins, none of them made it to the final 4. So, Drew, is a win just a win in baseball?
baseball's a different sport.
Oh, it's a different sport.
There's 162 games in baseball. There's only a handful in football. One football loss is equivalent to a half a month of losing baseball.
That's true.
So I guess when you look at it, sure, you can in baseball you can definitely sneak by with not winning every game, but I don't think this argument stands when you compare it, especially to college football, because college football, a loss and you're out if you're Washington. I still think that. I think even if we
Oh, I
destroyed
mean
Arizona State,
a loss to ASU and you're out
no,
easily.
no, 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 no. Even if we destroyed Arizona State and lost to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, I don't think we
Well,
get in
yeah,
when you have.
in that scenario we would be. I'm saying if you lose a game, but then you end up winning the Pac-12 championship, that would
Okay,
be
fine.
what gets us
I
there.
still disagree. So, like, let's say we lose. Let's say we destroy Arizona State by 100 points, and then we go and we lose to USC, but we still end up winning the Pac-12 tournament. I still don't think we get in. I still think Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and one of Florida State or Oklahoma will be like 4 of those 5 teams. I still think will be 4-0.
So you really think Florida State will go undefeated this year?
I do. I do.
So then how are we going to get in? We're
Because
going to
I
get
think
in over Ohio State?
I think at
Is
the
that
end of
the
the
only
day,
route?
well, Ohio State will have to play Michigan, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of those teams will have a loss, but their loss will be better than our loss, is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
if we lose to a USC and Ohio State loses to Michigan, even though we both have one loss, doesn't matter how much we beat Arizona State by. I think they get in over us. So we need to be
Well,
undefeated.
I'm not sold on Oklahoma and FSU going undefeated, but even still, I mean, I understand the argument, but again, like it's not just about a win's a win. It's about how did you win? It's about who did you win against? It's about did your team play well? And it's about did your team show that they can win the championship? The Huskies did not show that they
But
can
they
win the
did a week
championship.
prior. So is that just disregarded because of
Well,
one
it's
week?
well, any given week, anything can happen. But the teams,
Exactly. And that
but no,
week, Michael Penix, who
The
was still a little
teams,
bit hurt after a really hyped up Oregon week, it was definitely a trap game, and they didn't play great, and they still got the win.
but Drew, the teams that win the championships are the ones that play well every week.
I would agree, but I don't think a win's a win changes like us going into the college football playoffs. I think that's what I'm trying to argue right now.
Well, maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. Let's say, okay, so let's say FSU and Oklahoma both do go undefeated, and let's say we do as well. And let's say Michigan and Georgia, let's say there's 5 undefeated teams, as unlikely as that is. Let's say there's 5 undefeated teams in college football. You don't think they're going to hold this Arizona State win a little bit against us when comparing us and saying out of FSU, Washington, Oklahoma, which one doesn't make it?
So, and that's possible,
That's possible.
and they don't play each
It's
other
more possible
or
to
anything.
you.
I'm saying they don't play each other or anything, correct?
No, different divisions.
In that case, it could hurt us, yeah. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay. And let's go back to the NFL again.
And I
Because
still think we get
for
in, by
that
the way,
for the
in that position. I think our resume is still better than Oklahoma,
yeah, I mean
especially if we win the
it
Pac-12.
should be. Yeah, it should be.
So it could hurt us, sure, but I still think we get in, which is why my argument, in my opinion, still stands. We win out, we get in. If we lose a game, we don't get in, regardless of what happened against Arizona State. And then when you look at the Seahawks, I don't understand how you can argue this. This
Look,
season is not.
a win is a win if your goal is make the playoffs. But I think Seattle's goal has to be more than that this year.
But I disagree. So the 49ers just can't win the Super Bowl now. They lost to the Vikings. The Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl because they lost to the Jets. I disagree with you there fundamentally.
You're saying the Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl because why?
A loss to the Jets, like, or the Niners can't win the Super Bowl because they lost to the Vikings.
No, that doesn't mean they can't win the Super Bowl, but it does take them down in their chances. I mean, when your quarterback and your team plays down to opponents like that, it doesn't inspire much confidence.
I agree, but every year you're gonna have games like that. And oftentimes you're gonna have games like that where you end up
Yeah.
on the wrong
And
side
and
of things. We
and
still won.
every team goes through that, and every team's case, that win is not just a win.
And
There's
every team's case, that win is a
there
win.
is such thing as a moral loss. There's also such thing as a moral victory. Okay.
Sure, okay, great. You can have all your moral losses you want. A win's still a win. And
It, it,
I am
it
willing to move on from this argument if you got anything else. I think I've said my piece. You have anything
I
else?
think I've said mine too. Let's ask the viewers. Comment down below. Who do you think is right? I'm sure you're all gonna side with me because obviously I'm the smartest one in the room, but I'm also the only one in the room right now. Me and Drew aren't in the same room. So we'll see you guys in the next one. This is the NW Sportscast. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Give us your ideas for what our next debate should be. We like to try to do Mariners, Seahawks type questions about our debates. So hit us down below in the comments. We're looking at you guys for what do you think we should debate next week. We're going to try to do one of these a week. So, yeah.
Yeah, get ready for Seahawks pregame, Seahawks postgame, and all of that jazz. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes, and we will have a very exciting video coming up soon. Our Mariners, we're doing a Mariners player grades starting with offense.
Longer video, yeah.
Longer video starting with offense this week. It has actually already been posted to the podcast page, but the video is still in the midst of being edited. So if you guys want to see a pretty cool edited video there with our offensive Mariners player grades, that's going to be coming out this week. And then next week will be the pitchers. So
yeah,
I'm very excited to share that as well.
And final plug, Coast to Coast Sports. Go check it out if you want not just NW Sportscast content. We just did a power rankings. Would appreciate the support over on that channel. I'm sure it's linked in our YouTube bio or whatever. But just look up Coast to Coast Sports. It'll show up meanly by his face. So there you go. Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Go Hawks, go Huskies.